Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, here I bring you the best African stories to keep our culture alive. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this amazing story that has been passed through generations. Long ago in Duru village, there was a wedding so strange that people still whisper about it today. The bride looked perfect in coral beads and a glowing veil. But when the music rose and the veil slipped, the villagers saw something that froze their blood. Her eyes were not human at all, but the cold, shining eyes of a serpent. Before we go further into this story, take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell. That way, you'll always be here when we gather again for the next tale. In the old days, before tarred roads reached the heart of Duru, there was a river that the people both loved and feared. The river gave them fish, cool water, and fertile soil, but it also had a spirit. The elders often warned, never whistle by the river after dusk. The river listens, and it hears the whistle as a lover's call. Most villagers obeyed, but there was one young man named Obiora. He was strong, playful, and full of laughter. One evening, as the sun slid down and the crickets began their songs, Obiora walked along the riverbank carrying yams from his farm. Without thinking, he whistled a tune he loved. The sound danced over the still water. Suddenly, the river rippled, though no wind blew. From the mist rose a maiden. Her skin glowed like moonlight. Her eyes shone deep and mysterious. She wore a fine wrapper and beads on her neck. She smiled softly at Obiora and said her name was Nena. Obiora's heart beat fast. He had never seen such beauty. They spoke for a short while, and before he could ask more, she vanished back into the mist, leaving him restless. That night, he tossed on his raffia mat, unable to sleep. Her image stayed with him. Days passed, and Obiora sought her again. He returned to the river and whistled. Nena came, shy but smiling. Each meeting drew them closer until Obiora told his family he wished to marry her. His mother frowned. "My son, beauty can be a trap. We know nothing of her people." But Obiora's uncle Okik was greedy. When he saw how fine Nena looked, he licked his lips with pride. "Such a bride will bring honor to our family," he said, "and perhaps wealth too. Do not question a blessing that falls into your hands." The marriage talks began. Strangely, Nena's people never came in person. Instead, messengers brought heavy bags of cowries and jars of palm wine, agreeing to the bride price without delay. The elders muttered uneasily. Things like this were never so easy. But Okik silenced them with mocking laughter. "Can't you see the gods have favored us?" Still, omens troubled the village. On the night when the women gathered to sing for the bride, they poured palm wine into a calabash. Out of nowhere, small snakes slithered around the pot, tongues flicking. The women screamed. But Nena only smiled and lifted the calabash, drinking as though nothing was wrong. The women whispered in fear. But Okik laughed again. "Snakes live by the river. Is that new?" And so the preparations continued. The wedding day came. The square of Duru shook with drums and songs. Women clapped, children danced, men lifted cups of palm wine. The bride entered in coral beads, her head high, her veil shimmering. The moment she stepped into the square, the rain that had been falling all morning suddenly stopped. The villagers cheered, though some noticed the goats refusing to cross her shadow and the chickens flapping away. Nervous laughter covered their unease. The feast began. Palm wine flowed, roasted yam and spicy soup filled the air. Obiora's smile shone bright. He felt he had won the greatest treasure. Then it happened. As the drummers beat faster, the bride's veil slipped. For a heartbeat, the villagers saw it. Her eyes gleamed with vertical slits, and fine scales shimmered across her cheek. The drummer dropped his stick and fainted where he stood. Silence swallowed the square. Mothers pulled their children close. Men stared in shock. The elders rose quickly. Old Pa Nuok, his staff in hand, stepped forward. His voice was firm, though cracked with age. Spirits may wear masks, but their true form cannot hide from the ancient tests. He called for palm oil and kola nut. He placed them before the bride. Daughter, eat, and let your heart be known. Nena's smile faltered. Her hand shook as she touched the palm oil. She brought it to her lips. The moment it brushed her skin, smoke hissed, and her face twisted with pain. Gasps filled the square. Pa Nuok struck his staff to the earth. This bride is not of us. She is of the river. Nena's eyes blazed. Her voice grew deep, echoing with the hiss of hidden waters. If you send me away with fire and violence, the river will take blood. Your land will dry. Your children will starve. The people trembled. Some cried for mercy, others for her death. Obiora fell to his knees before her. I love you still, he begged, but she did not look at him. Okik shouted loudest, his pride wounded. Burn her now. But Panuk lifted his staff. No, to fight a spirit with fire is to call death upon ourselves. She must be returned to where she belongs. At dawn, the villagers gathered by the river. Nena walked calmly, her steps slow, her beads dropping one by one. Her wrapper melted into mist. Her skin rippled and shifted, scales spreading across it. By the time she reached the bank, she was no longer a woman, but a great serpent, gleaming and terrible. With one final look, she slid into the river, and the water swallowed her. The villagers stood frozen. Obiora wept until his eyes grew red, for he knew he would never see her again. From that day, he lived with sorrow, always sitting by the river, staring at the waters that had taken his bride. And so the people of Duru never whistle by the river after dusk, for the river listens, and the river remembers. Now tell me, if you had been there, would you have allowed Nena to stay, or sent her back to the river? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story touched you, like the video and share it with someone who loves stories, so that the memory of Duru will never fade. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share with your friends and family. Subscribe and ring the bell icon so you get notified when we upload a new video. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.